na 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 na. Na 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 na. You're part of the Rebel Alliance. La 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 la. You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away. Yes, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, man's used a different system. It was an old system, but a good system, and it worked. And, you know, to conclude the changing of the systems, we are looking at the Canon EOS RP, or we've been looking at it for the last couple of weeks. I don't really like to dwell on it for so long, but it's just so interesting, you know, the fact that, you know, every time Canon put out a camera, there's so much backlash, and we've talked about it before. But what I've been noticing or realizing is that the focus of the new RP are for people who currently own Rebels, you know, the Rebel Alliance. Those who fly X-Wings and Y-Wings and A-Wings, these little ships for, you know, for the rebellion against the Empire. The Empire being the camera world that seems to shoot anything other than Canon these days. You know, that seems to be the focus, you know. Canon's so rubbish, it's so crap, it's so useless, you know. So in some way, in some strange kind of way, it makes us Canon shooters feel like rebels. Well, it doesn't me anyway. I feel like a rebel. And it's one of the reasons why I like to hold on to my Canon. He says, holding a Zenith EM in his hand. It's one of the reasons why I like to shoot Canon, you know, because it's missing so many features that in some kind of strange way in my mind, that if I take a good photo, it's more down to me than the system, because these features are missing. So it's, you know, interesting way of looking at it. Anyway, you know, so all those rebel ship flyers out there and those rebel shooters are the triple digit Ds, you know, the 100D and the 200D and the double digit Ds, you know, and all them, you know, who shoot M's, EOS M. The Canon EOS RP is for us, you know, it's for us to look at, and it's very interesting. It's something that I've really been delving into for the last couple of weeks. And oh, by the way, how do you think it looks? I'm actually shooting in 50 FPS, you know. I just thought, let me try this 50 FPS, frames per second, you know. There's been so much said about, you know, in the US, the EOS RP shoots at, I think it's 30 FPS. And it's a move away from the traditional 24, which is filmic, you know. And people are losing their hair. People are losing their mind because this 24 FPS is a move away from it. And I just thought, let me give this a try, you know. Since I'm not shooting a Spielberg movie here, you know. This the rebellion will be televised, but not in 24 frames per second. I thought, let me try it out. Here in the UK, we have 25 and we have 50. So that aspect of it doesn't really affect us, but I just thought, let me try it out. 50, this is 50. Do I look too real? Do I look, you know, Republic credits are not good enough around here. We need something real. 50 FPS is more real. How does it look? Do I look more scary? Is it something that looks weird and, you know, makes you want to throw up? It's very interesting. I think it looks kind of video-y. And as a man who used to shoot a lot of video, before I started doing photography in a serious way, I was the video man. So I used to shoot with those big video cams, XH-A1, you know, Sony Z1, those kind of cameras, EX3, fling them on your shoulder, you know, these big cameras, and it gives you this kind of video look, which, you know, you kind of like or you don't like, I guess. So Comments below. What do you reckon? Should I continue in 50 FPS? Or is it something that's just abhorrent? Something that we can't get used to and should steer away from? Stick with a 25 or the 24. And that's another thing. One of the complaint about the EOS RP only shooting in 30 FPS in the US. If you switch it to PAL, then you can shoot in 25. No brainer, you know. It's all good. Okay, another thing that I've been seeing regarding this EOS RP and people who are steering the new users away or seem to be steering away is they're saying, well, it's got this new system, lovely new EOS RP, and it's got no glass. What is that about? There is no glass. Really? You know, with the adapter, yeah, it can fit any of these a million squillion EF lenses. This is the 50, plastic fantastic, 50. Yeah, you can see that? The 50, plastic fantastic, cheap. You can't get more cheaper than that, or inexpensive than that. 50, plastic fantastic. This costs 50 quid. Here in the UK, you know, 50 quid. And it opens up the whole range of EF glass, you know, to the RP. So there is no real argument about the camera not really having glass. I mean, most of these lenses that I've got here, these EF lenses that I've got here, this is 1635. I got this for 690 quid. And you may say, well, that's not really cheap. But compared to the RFs, compared to the RF lenses, this is cheap. And this is good L glass, you know? So maybe some of those reviewers need glasses because they're not looking at the glass that's available, you know? Look at this here. Look at this. This is the 135 f2.0 L EF. I got this, how much did I pay for this? 700, 690 again. Both of these I got used. 690 quid. This one was 690 quid. Yeah, and these are proper glass. These will, you know, make your images sing. What else I got over here? Yeah. Just showing some of the EF glass that these reviewers don't seem to be able to see because they haven't got glasses or don't seem to know about or don't seem to want to steer the users to. Look at this. This is the 85 1.8 EF glass. I got this for 320 pounds, something like that. Can you see that? I'm moving out of the way because this dual pixel is trying to pick up my face. Yeah? 320 pounds. EF, this is my favorite lens. This EF glass right here. Yeah? So there's a whole wealth and possibly the most important lens, important first lens that any new camera buyer, full frame camera buyer should get. This right here. 24 to 70 f4 I've got. The 2470 that covers most of the ranges that you'll want to use. You know, you want to try out. And, you know, when you're a new shooter, you might not necessarily know what subgenre or genre of photography you want to go into. So this is a good lens to start with. It's got a great macro function on there. It is image stabilized. Beautiful lens. The images of this lens, I've spoken about it before. You know, it's just, how can I describe it? It's brilliant, brilliant lens. So you slap this on your EOS RP. I got this for £550. L lens, 2470, 550. The 2.81 version is over £1,000, but with the ISO on some of these cameras now, you don't even need to go down to 2.8. You know, so I've never had a problem with this lens. So I don't really understand why some of these reviewers are pretending or forgetting that the EF range, I mean, look at this. I forgot to mention this one. Look at this. Look at this. This is Sigma. So EF lens, EF mount, It is a 70 to 200. This, I got this for £390. Look at that. Can you see that? Is it focused on it? £390. That's cheaper than any of these. What are you talking about? It's an EF lens. Whack that onto your RP. Trust me. One of these, you're laughing. You're set. So there's some kind of conspiracy in the empire, methinks. In the evil empire, which is making some of these reviewers omit to tell you the truth about the lenses that are available, that you could slap on your EOS RP and get some full frame goodness. And it's really interesting, right? It's really interesting because what I notice also is a lot of Sony a7 III users, brilliant camera, a lot of Sony a7 III users that I see tend to have an adapter on their mirrorless cameras and they're rocking EF lenses, which shows you how brilliant the EF lenses are. Yet the reviewers seem to have amnesia or there's some kind of force field, tractor beam. No, that's pulling in, tractor beam's pulling. There's some kind of barrier to Canon EOS RP users using a Canon adapter and adapting Canon glass for a Canon mirrorless. It's kind of weird. I mean, what is that all about? You know, surely if it's great for Sony users, it must be great for Canon users, these EF glass as well. I don't know. It's a strange one, that. What's the other one that I've been seeing about the EFS glass? That's the right. Putting EFS glass on an RP. What's it doing I'm not sure. There's an issue with putting it on the RP. I think it's to do with filming. It cuts it down or something. There is some issue where you can't put EF glass on an RP, and that's being used also as a barrier, as some kind of reason to not get the EOS RP. But if you go back before mirrorless, Canon mirrorless was invented, and you had something like this, a 5D or a 6D, EFS glass couldn't even fit on. We couldn't even put EFS glass on these bodies. It kind of contradicts the whole purpose of getting a full frame camera if you're going to put EFS glass on anyway. Crop glass. You know, focus on good glass, I would say. Get good glass, you know. It's all about good glass. Yeah? That's what we used to be told. It's not the camera body. Focus on good glass. For some reason, you know, the RF glass is great glass, but for some reason, that's not being spoken about anymore. You know, the body of the camera, I would say, is more focused on the body of the camera when you know what genre of photography you want to go into, when you know what it is that you want to do. As a new photographer, I would say focus on the glass. Doesn't really matter what body it is. So the EOS RP is a great full frame, brand new full frame camera. To start with, get good glass. The price of these holds. If you want to move up, you already got the glass. If you want to quit, you can sell the glass. The body price will dip. The glass will hold its price. So again, you know, even if you did go for the RF glass, which is really expensive, that's going to hold its price, you know. So it's a good one, you know. So we need to watch out for some of these sneaky reviewers that are not actually telling the truth, you know. It's all about the glass, man. I've got some notes down here, which is why I'm looking down. So, yeah, I'd like to take this opportunity to big up another channel, Rephotography. Gave me a mention last week, and I was watching because I watch some of you all. I watch some of you all. I like to watch to see what you all are doing. So, and I'm a subscriber, so I was watching 5 in 5 on a Friday, and he mentioned life and times of a multiple media manager. And it's really strange, right? It was really a strange feeling. And I tell you what, when you said, I'm going to mention somebody, and as you said, life and times of a multiple media manager, I actually said life and times of a multiple media manager, but I said it mockingly. And your voice came out of my mouth and it almost threw me off my chair. It was such a shock. It was such a surprise. So, you know, big up Rephotography. It's nice to know that there are people who are enjoying what I do. It's not, as I said, this is not really a photography channel. I talk about photography, but as the name suggests, it's life and times of a multiple media manager. That's somebody who deals in multiple forms of media. And photography is one of those forms. Video is one of those forms. Design, journalism, one of those forms. Graphic design is one of them forms. Editing, one of them forms. You know, most of it, I agree, I do kind of like lean on the photography side of it. Maybe too much. But, you know, hopefully, as we go, we'll bring those things in more and more, you know. So, it is what it is. Episode 82. The Rebel Alliance. The RP Rebel Alliance. I'm still thinking of getting one. I'm still hoping to get one when things start rolling in. I was just looking at, you know, how it's being portrayed in the Empire, our little photography circle. And I just don't think it's getting a fair, you know, it's not being shown in its favorable light for whatever reason. So EF glass, that's where it is for you if you can't afford the RF glass. There's tons of it. Don't be fooled by some of these people out here who's just trying to steer you one way or another. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, and lastly, I have a letter. Information just coming in. Yeah. Information just coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have a letter. Yeah. I'm going to read it. It says, Dear Sony users, thank you for offering us potential RP buyers your old A7 II. We don't want your old A7 II. Keep your old A7 II. I'm sure it was good for you. We're going to keep rolling with what we have. The Canon EOS RP. Thank you. And keep on keeping on. Till next time. Zoom.